I've been to the point where I have absolutely no money in my bank account, and I'm in LA and I have nothing.
得意なことと不得意なことの差が多分俺が今まで会ってきた人史上最強だと思う。不得意なことは本当もう諦めてやらないタイプじゃん。
すごい安いものしか食べないし、で飲み物はもう絶対に水だけみたいな。
完璧主義者で自分が気に食わないと、いや本当にダメみたいな。
I think it was 2013 I hit 1,000 subscribers.
How many subscribers do you have?
I think I have 1.6 million. Wow, he is cleaning up my mess. I'm so bad at this. Yo, that's so nice. Thank you. Wow.
Shaking, a total life is what you make it, but you can't make it when you're naked, alone again, afraid of all your hopeless friends, cause they'll be why your story ends. Let's hope that you can make it end. I love the way you talk to me when you feel
完璧。今のは完璧だ。
Thank you. My name is Luis Mora, and I am 26 years old. How do I say it? I film skateboarding, I make YouTube videos, and I own a streetwear brand. I am from Carson City, Nevada. My hometown is out in the desert, right next to the mountains. There's nothing there, no skateboarding culture, but it is a very peaceful town. I started skating when I was 10 years old, so I've been skating for 16 years. So the way it happened was my brother had a friend. He had a friend that came over with like a Zero board, and I grew up playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater. So to me, that was like the coolest thing. And I was like, Dad, I want a skateboard. Took me to Walmart. There was like this $10 plank of wood with like this, it's not even grip tape, it's like sandpaper, cheap sandpaper. He bought me the board and the trucks broke like the first week. They were like super thin. But after that I fell in love with it and I just kept trying to skate like every day. Like I loved gathering up all my friends to skate, and it kind of gave us like a reason to all meet up and like hang out. So it was really fun as a kid. But obviously when you get older, everyone grows up and like does their own thing. At some point, like everyone kind of just faded away. After like graduating, I was still so obsessed with skating. I would watch skate videos all the time. I bought like a VX. I was like, dude, I love to skate and film. It was so much fun. Skaters go out and travel and skate, and LA seems like this amazing city to skate. That was just my dream. And then eventually I just decided to go to college. So I started just focusing on YouTube. I think it was 2013 I hit 1,000 subscribers. To me, I was like, okay, that's enough for me to like drop out of college and move to LA. And I started filming. And like I'd go back and forth, and like I would just message people every day. Before I knew it, I had like 10 messages in the morning from skaters all over Los Angeles, all really talented skaters. My name started to spread around. Around the time that happened, Instagram became popular, you know? So I would just be like, okay, if I can at least get people to watch my stuff on like social media, then it's the first step, right? I became like crazy about it. I would post all the time. I ended up gaining like somewhat of a following. I would make street edits, started to become popular. They would get like 100,000 views each. And in my head I was like, this is unbelievable, dude. Like, I was shocked. The reality of LA was tough, dude. I had no money. It's like starving every day. And my friend Ryan told me that his friend, he was living with his sister. His sister was moving out. So we moved into his house. My friend forced me to go get EBT, which is like government money for food if you're basically homeless. Since I wasn't like technically under a lease, and I was sleeping on the couch, and sometimes I'd move around a bit, I was able to apply for that, and I was just living off that. $200 a month I would get for food, and that was all I had to survive. the grocery store had 39-cent burritos. I would live off that. I'd get home, 36-cent burrito, and that's how I lived. I had to get a job for a sandwich shop named Togo's. I got fired the first week. I was like out filming every night and I didn't study the menu. But when I got fired, I told myself, I was like, okay, I'm here to focus, right? I told myself that I will never work a job like that again, and I didn't. Before I did my own stuff, I was helping other YouTubers. I went on a trip with Lamont Holt. I worked for him for maybe 6 months. It took us 4 months to get his channel from 20 to 100,000 subscribers. He started to make money and I was underpaid. And I'm sure he wasn't trying to underpay me. It's just when you're building up a channel, you obviously don't have so much. But I was like, dude, this sucks. And then I was like, dude, if I got Lamont's channel to 100,000 in 4 months, I can do mine. And in 5 months, I got my channel to 100,000. I think what helped me is I built up a big Instagram following throughout the 2 years I was in LA. I had 40,000, yeah, before I started doing YouTube stuff. Even after I started doing my YouTube stuff, I was still sleeping at Lamont's house on his couch. So Lamont had a friend, Brett, who just randomly came to his house. He told me about his travels because he liked to just travel and explore. And I asked about Japan because clearly I like to watch anime, so I was interested. But he's like, yeah, dude, it's so cool. You have to go. Let's go together. And then I was like, let's do it. And I booked a ticket. I'm the type of person who spontaneously will just do things, you know? Yeah, basically I bought the ticket and then he said he was down and then he just didn't go. So at last minute, he's like, yeah, I'm not going. And me and Marcos were just going by ourselves. And this is around the time I had just started Erased. Because since Marcos was living with me, I wanted to figure out a way to make money to support my friends, you know? It's a good opportunity to have more of my friends around, which will help me create better videos. Because I fell in love with Japan, I felt that 1 month was not enough. It was a new world, you know? So interesting.
Just look at the view behind me. This is the nicest thing. I actually don't mind having to walk a few miles home because it's fucking Tokyo. Tokyo's beautiful, man. I'm definitely gonna move here, for sure.
I was going back and forth, and eventually I was just focusing on Erase the brand and making content in Japan. Throughout the times coming here, I was able to meet so many people, but I think Takia and Kinosuke, it kind of just worked out the best. I was like, would you guys like to ride for my brand? I wanted to support them, you know, and use my filming and connections to help them grow.
俺さっきインスタで俺ルイスといつ出会ったんだろうと思って DM を見たんだよね。したら俺初めてルイスにスタンプを送ってたの、その2017年に。でその1年後ぐらいに、だから19になる年の時にアメリカ行って、でルイスとその時インスタつながってて、でルイスから今 LA にいるのみたいな連絡が初めてルイスからメッセージ来て、滑ろうよって言われて、そのアメリカで有名なストナーがあって、そこで滑ろうって言われて、で初めてそこでルイスと会ってからのきっかけかな、その先は。
Basically, I took the LA street skateboarding culture. I created these Japan videos that started getting crazy views. And I just took what I knew that was the negative about creating YouTube skateboarding content and try to apply the core part into it to make a more respected channel. After my first trip to Japan, like I said, I moved from LA and then I was moving around. I went to Nevada, New York, I moved to Santa Cruz. Then I decided to do a tour with a bunch of people. Just some friends who did YouTube. Everyone had a big following. And this one guy messaged me. He's like, hey, I heard you're starting a brand. I've been working with a bunch of streetwear brands in the past. Love what you do. Do you think I could help you out with some stuff? I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Of course. He came on the tour. Then afterwards, he just kind of started doing everything. We agreed that we'd co-own the brand. And Edwin just with his knowledge of streetwear was able to make Erase a legitimate brand.
宮島健です。よく健宮島って呼ばれてます。僕は写真撮ったり広告のプロダクションマネージャーっていう仕事やってます。映像系かな、映像とか写真とかやってます。 ルイスのことを知ったきっかけはやっぱり YouTube じゃない。初めてルイスに会ったのは多分2017年か18年。まずあいつってずっとアメリカで YouTube やってたじゃん、スケボー系の。でなんか突然日本来て、俺日本にムーブしたいみたいな感じになったじゃん、いきなり。あいつ日本に進出するにあたって日本のファンを増やしたいみたいなことでさ、日本語のサブタイトルあいつの過去の動画分全てつけたいってなって、それはインスタでなんかストーリーで募集してたんだよね。俺その時アメリカいて、まあ大学生やってたんだけど時間あったし、まあ面白そうだなと思って、じゃあ俺手伝うよって DM したのが始まり。一応2018年の5月に大学卒業して6月ぐらいに帰ってきたんだよね。でそのタイミングぐらいでルイスも来たんだよね。確か日本に来たの知って会おうよってなって世田谷公園で会った。パークにさ行く途中に俺家の近くのコンビニ寄ったらあいつがいて、でなんでいんのみたいな。でそこで一緒に行ったんだよ確か。で世田谷公園行って滑って、その後一緒に帰ったらまああいつの家は俺の家の向かい側だったっていうオチ。見えたよ普通に。だって窓から見えるもん。そこでね運命を感じて、
人のことを応援するのがすごい好きで、だからなんかみんなをサポートしたいっていう気持ちがあるからすごい厳しいところはあるのかなって。でそのパートの映像を撮るために撮影行って怪我しちゃって、で自分も東京に引っ越してすぐだったから、やっぱお金の面とかもねなかなか難しいっていうのがあって、でルイスが全然そういうのを気にしなくていいから俺が払うよって、イレイズの方から手あげるよって言ってくれて全部出してくれたって感じかな。俺だからすると結構成功してるっていう風に思ってるじゃんみんな。だからなんかめちゃくちゃ美味しいご飯食べてんのかなとかっていうイメージはあったりとかするんだけど、すごい安いものしか食べないし、で飲み物はもう絶対に水だけみたいな。
I never expected to be where I am. I just loved skateboarding. I loved filming skateboarding. I loved gathering people together, creating a community, and just having fun with like friends. If I didn't like this shit, I wouldn't have suffered for so long. You know, like I didn't do this because I wanted to make money, you know? And even afterwards, I was working for people for super cheap. With that passion and those experiences, that's what like created what I have today. Like my family wasn't wealthy, but we weren't like super poor either, you know? My parents were super kind and loving. So I grew up like in a comfortable home, safe environment in a small town. To move to the city and have nothing, like taught me a lot. It taught me how ungrateful I was for my family. It taught me that I can't be lazy. I have to be organized. I have to work hard or nothing will change. And I think if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to like acquire this work ethic. I've been to the point where I have absolutely no money in my bank account and I'm in LA and I have nothing. If you truly enjoy what you do, you can be happy. You know, and that's why I was able to like be stupidly poor and like suffering for such a long time because it was fun. And that's what's beautiful about skateboarding. You just need your skateboard and like a good community, good friends to just like enjoy yourself. And I think even now with my position, like I feel like I don't need so much. I don't have like a nice house. I don't have anything. Like I don't buy a shit ton of stuff because I learned what it's like to have nothing. And now I feel like I can just live like kind of more minimal, I guess.
ルイスはもう得意なことと不得意なことの差が多分俺が今まで会ってきた人史上最強だと思う。いやまあそれさ俺もあるし、言うてシモンもあるじゃん。それはタックンもあるけど、ルイスは良くも悪くもすごいんだよね。いや多分ね不得意なことは本当もう諦めてやらないタイプじゃん。振り切るで、その代わり得意なことはすごい追求するから、まあ面白いよね。自分の健康を損なうぐらい追求しちゃうから、寝ない、ストレス、たまにそれでノイローゼになっちゃってるけど、だけど やりきった後満足してるからまたいいと思うんだよね。だからやっぱスケボーと動画とかね、その辺に関してはすごい熱い。なんかそういう人の心に届くことに関しては多分得意なんだけど、手を動かして何か創作するとかが想像系になるとあんまり興味なさそうだよね。
ルイスはなんだろう、なんかすごい、まあ、自分でもよく言ってるけどなんか完璧主義者で、自分が気に食わないと、いや本当にダメみたいな、こだわり強い、すごい。
いやまあだからとことんド M って だって熱中症になるまで、熱中症って分かってるのに熱中症で、そのままスケボー続けて救急車で運ばれるのと俺はやめろって言ってんのに、水飲めって言ってんのに飲まない。
本当にバカなんだよね。この間も大阪行った時も絶対暑いって分かってて、ルイス3泊4日で普通に着替えてさ、絶対さ3枚4枚ぐらい持っていくじゃん、日数分は。でルイス自分の着てる服と着てった服ともう1枚しか持ってってないの、あいつで。なぜかそれだけしか持ってってないし、で着替えがないって言い出して裸の状態でパーカー着て、真夏のさめちゃくちゃ暑い中さパーカーでずっと撮影してた。ルイスやばいからね、バカだもん。
あとは橋だね。橋はいつまでたっても覚えない。それをなんかね、あいつは自分の中で面白いと思う。ちょっとネタにしてるよね、振り切って。前にルイスん家でさ、俺が今日料理してやるって言ってさ、カレー作り始めた時になかったっけ。だからカレー作り始めたんだよ、あいつが。カレールーあるからっつって。でまず食材切るじゃん。一発目玉ねぎ切り始めました。あいつちゃんとブラウンの皮がついたままみじん切り始めたでそれで平然と料理してんので、切り終わったら人参みたいな感じで言ってるから、俺そのタイミングでちょうどそれ見つけて、お前何やってんの、これ全部剥くんだよって言ったら、知らない、そんなの知らない。でもそこでちょっと諦めて、結局もう料理やめて、ますみさんが1時間後ぐらいに帰ってきて、ますみさんが全部きれいに混ざった皮を取り除いて、ますみさんが最終的に作ってくる。でちょっとね、一般常識も欠けてるところはあるんだよね。
俺にとってはその12歳13歳ぐらいかなからイレイスとサポートしてもらって、アメリカ連れてってもらったりとか、いろいろやってくれて、本当にお世話になった人、すごいお世話になった人。やっぱなんかルイスが初めてアメリカ連れてってくれたから、その時のタイミングでプリミティブにのジャパンに入れたっていうのもあったし。
I can say I am where I am, like where I wanted to be as a kid. So I am here where I am now. But when I got to the point where I wanted to be, I was like, oh, I'm in a good place. But like, if you're doing stuff alone, it's not as fun. Like I said, what attracted me to skateboarding was like the community, the sense of community, just like going out skating with your friends. It gives you all a common goal to go out and just have a good time. What I wanted to do was something where I could help my friends and just like get everyone to a position where they can do what they love to do. That way it's like an ecosystem. Like if they grow in this field, it comes back to what I'm doing. And if I grow in what I'm doing, it goes back to what they're doing. And it's just like continuously growing. No matter where you get, that's just like human nature. You want to like keep growing and growing and growing. I think that's what will keep it fun. It's just constantly having a goal.
期待はないけど、だからなんか今イレイズの方も大きくしようとしてるし、大きくなってるし、この先もそういうことを続けられたらいいなって。
楽しいことをやりながら生きていくのは面白いねっていうのはここ3年ぐらいであいつから得たかもしれない。でもそれはシモンもあるけど、言うて俺はなんだろうな、もともとサラリーマン、ルイス経由でタックに回ってるし、ルイス経由でシモンに回ってると。そうだからそういう意味では今のいろんなそのコミュニティの元となるのはルイスだよ俺は。そうだからそこはめっちゃありがたい。なんかもうこれは無駄だなって思ったことは結構すぐ切るタイプだから、いろいろなんかやるんじゃない。あんまりわかんないけど、もちろんイレイズってブランドもあるだろうし、あいつの YouTuber としての顔もあるだろうし、でもルイス・モラもルイス・モラだよマジで。
I feel like I definitely want to be an example for people. My whole entire last 7-8 years of my life have been just like doing things the way people said you should not do them. When I moved to LA and like when I chose not to work, my parents didn't want me to do that. They freaked out. I just left. 3 days, I told my mom, I'm leaving in 3 days, I left. Then like when I got to LA and I started doing like the street skateboarding stuff, and I learned that like you're kind of alone. Then when I started focusing on my own thing, like people told me not to do YouTube. But look now, everyone just uploads everything to YouTube. Things are constantly changing, and like if you're just gonna follow the same thing that everyone else is doing, You're creating a replica of what's already existing. Take your idea and go with it. But also be hard on yourself. Understand why things are the way they are. And if you can do it in your own way, in a respectable way for the culture, do it. A new age of things coming, whether you like it or not. And like the way to have a career in skateboarding is not the same as it used to be. Just truly do what you do with passion, and I think people gravitate towards that. Is that every single bad thing that has happened in my life sometimes is like meant to happen. It's like you can either get sad about it and cry and give up, or you can like use it as motivation to kind of help you go a different way that maybe was meant to be. Like if I didn't get evicted from that house, I would have never ended up doing the YouTube stuff, right? Like when my friend didn't go to Japan. Because he didn't go to Japan, that's like what made me who I am. Don't be afraid to be different. If you're doing something that's your own thing and people are like, oh, what's that? That's cool, because if you can make that cool, you're the first and you just started a trend. Like that's your thing. You are known for that. You are not the guy that took someone else's thing. You made your own thing and you made your own path. That's what makes you stand out, and that's why you will be remembered. So don't be afraid to be judged. Don't be afraid to be a loner. Don't be afraid to just like keep fighting, because eventually, if you're good at what you do, you'll make it work.